I wanted to briefly talk about all of the insane retorts, I guess, that Ethan Klein has come up with to defend why he's acting up the way that he's acting up and acting out. Yeah, Pepe W indeed. I didn't know it but until this morning, but apparently Hassan watched that video on his stream. The video we watched yesterday. He couldn't get through it because of chat, LOL. Yeah, I'm not surprised. He only got 33 minutes into the video. I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. I saw some of the clips and they didn't look great. I'm going to be honest. They did not look great. So apparently, or not apparently, but unsurprisingly, Ethan Klein went on his podcast to talk about everything. I know it was just a small section of the podcast, but I wanted to see. The TLDR, for anyone who missed it, was basically he screenshotted some random Twitter post talking about how Americans don't understand 9/11 and then proceeded to prove them right by saying that obviously these people are bin Laden defenders and none of these people knew that bin Laden actually Biden Laden bin Laden clearly wanted to destroy America because of its freedoms and for no other reason at all and only for its freedoms, and he was a very problematic fave, guys. All right. He was very problematic. I don't know if you guys know, but he was homophobic. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. He was shadowboxing points that nobody was making precisely. And then Frogan on her Twitter responded. She made a quote tweet saying, "This motherfucker never shuts up." And that made him really angry. That made him really upset. Yeah. And then he proceeded to do this. Let me say I give zero fucks about Frogan's crocodile tears. She has inserted herself in the middle of my conversations many times and cries when I respond to her. She is an official representative. Oh my God. Of Hassan's community, and the pressure should be on her to behave better and not make his entire community look bad. The tone policing is so good. I also blame Hassan for continually hand-waving her horrific behavior to the point that it's essentially an endorsement. And fuck Osama bin Laden in this life and the next. Yeah. 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 Is it just me or does Ethan tend to go off and do that shadowboxing thing like once a year? Yeah, pretty much on schedule. But do you condemn Osama? Do you condemn Osama bin Laden? Do you? So, obviously anyone with like basic reading comprehensions could understand that the original post, which I can pull it up for you guys in a sec, was talking about how blowback is real and how United States foreign intervention will cause people to fight back. And maybe the US should be more responsible with how we deal with foreign nations, at the very least for the safety of Americans. But instead, he decided to try and be boss babe and say fuck bin Laden and anyone trying to rewrite history, as if people don't already know that bin Laden was like super racist and sexist and homophobic. He's not arguing. He's not arguing against the point that anyone is making. And the craziest part is that there are unironically people that are telling Frogan, you need to condemn Osama bin Laden. I just have to say, okay, the last people that are going to play defense for Osama bin Laden are hijabi women living in the United States post 9/11. Okay? In fact, dare I say, hijabi women in the United States, as well as, unfortunately, friendly fire against non-Muslims, men wearing turbans, Sikh people, Those people are the first to condemn Osama bin Laden. You know why? Because 9/11 made their lives fucking horrible. Okay? And for you to assume that, like, the Muslim woman clearly is trying to play defense for bin Laden is crazy. It's insane. It's crazy, dude. Oh my God. I have a crazy hot take, guys. Are you guys ready? Fuck Adolf Hitler. Like, what? Like, it's just so stupid. It's really dumb. I think this person puts it pretty well. Him talking about 2 Middle Eastern Muslim creators and trying to make it seem like they support Osama bin Laden is actually insane. Fuck this man. And for anyone who's like, oh, he didn't say that they support him. By bringing Osama bin Laden up in reference to 2 people who were not even talking about him in this conversation and were only annoyed that he's insisting on talking about Middle Eastern issues over and over and over again irresponsibly, and then saying the term fuck Osama bin Laden, you are implying that those people support him or that they don't condemn his actions, which is just so stupid. It's just so dumb. I don't understand. Why did Frogan tweet about Ethan not shutting up? Because she's allowed to? Because he said a bunch of stupid shit? And when people say stupid shit on the internet, you're allowed to say, this motherfucker never shuts up. That's it. That's just the internet. You must be new here. I understand. The booklet's over there. She never even added him. I mean, yeah, it was a quote tweet of this person, and you know, yeah. But why did she go off? Because he unfollowed her. That part made no sense. Hey man, listen, I'm not like the Frogan whisperer, okay? You can go ask her, okay? I don't know why people do what they do, okay? I just work here, dude, all right? Okay, I don't know, because she wanted to, because she thought it would be funny. I don't know. I'm not her, man. Okay. Anyways, yeah, let's watch a little bit of this. I know Frogan reacted to it, but I didn't see any of that. Why did my bitch wife leave me and take the kids? Galaxy Nina, thank you for the 11 months.
But I'm not here on Monday. You gotta do it also when I'm here too.
Why don't you come Monday?
That'd be fun.
I guess I could.
Okay.
Well, it's already 4:06. We started a little late.
I want to talk about my beef with bin Laden.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I made
Denims is the official representative of Frogan International. Yeah, Frogan is the official representative of Hassan's community, and I'm her official representative.
the brave assertion on Instagram, and again, this stems from these TikTok people who are like being like simping for bin Laden because he was anti-American, and failed to read the rest of his manifesto, in which he said specifically, the reason I did this attack is because you're all gay Jews who aren't Muslims doing Sharia law, and also you give...
Not what it says in it. And this is another like failed attempt at understanding any type of media at all. Like truly no media literacy, no reading literacy. I just...
give loans. You loan with interest.
There's a surprising
bad train wreck. Thank you so much for the gift sub. Thank you.
amount of usury talk in that letter.
They
that he
really
wrote.
don't. They really not down with the usury.
Yeah.
So they can
Well,
get.
and Christianity is supposed to be against it too, but they've just kind of
they don't care
They
about
don't
it.
take it that seriously anymore.
So you're supposed to lend money without interest?
Yeah, you're not supposed to charge interest.
Well,
on
how
a
are you going to
loan.
do that? Who's going to do that?
You
know who wrote? You know who wrote?
You know,
Capitalist Ethan Klein. What do you mean I would do something without the gain, without the potential gain for lining my pot. What do you mean, dude? What? Why would I ever do that? Why would I do something to be altruistic? What the hell? And just in case it's not clear,
It burns when I pee.
this is me calling him a capitalist, okay? All right. This is in reference to him calling himself a filthy capitalist, talking about why he doesn't want to have a co-op. Just in case, all right?
You know what? I'm not going to say.
The Jews.
That's what a Jew would say.
Jews wouldn't loan money for no interest.
Yeah, I mean, this
no.
is now a pretty antiquated point of view. Obviously, the entire global financial system is based off of exchanging money.
You know what? You know what you call giving people money without interest?
A gift?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not getting that money back.
Right. Yeah, in the Bible, it says that it's immoral to charge people interest. If they need money, you should just lend it to them.
Clearly, whoever wrote the Bible was broke as fuck. Was trying not.
Said on the show. I famously pointed out on the show once that Jesus was broke. And I dunked on his ass.
Dude, what?
You ate him all the way up.
What a fuck? Do people know that?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
So yeah,
I can't tell what's a joke and what's not a joke. Neko, thank you so much for the 22 months.
took this brave stance. I saw this tweet, and it had, and this moment, it got even more, but it had 160,000 likes, 9 million views. So there's a lot of people on Twitter who are like, yeah, this guy's onto something. Do Americans actually know why bin Laden did all that? Or do they believe he hated that they can vote or something? And what's interesting to me is that when I actually read his writings and learned about it, it occurred to me that, like, holy shit, that is kind of why he hates us. Which I think at the time, you know, it seemed like so stupid to me. Like, oh, they hate us for our freedoms. Like, what does it mean? But he says it right in his fucking thing. And I'll show that to you. I said, he did quite literally hate Americans because they could vote and had freedoms. He specifically states in his writings the reasons: homosexuality, lack of Sharia law, drug use, lending of money, and letting Jews run the country, or the world, frankly. Please read his writings before regurgitating tanky talking points and running defense for a mass-murdering, homophobic, anti-Semitic piece of shit. Fuck bin Laden. Anyone trying to rewrite history. Well, can you imagine? People started lining up to die on this hill of defending bin Laden.
Sorry, I'm muted because I was snacking. It's so hard to tell if Ethan Klein is genuinely deluded himself into thinking that there are this many bin Laden supporters, or if he knows and he doesn't care. Intentional misunderstanding? It has to be, right? It has to be. To falsely accuse all these people of liking bin Laden and then trying to spend time on his stream proving that bin Laden was a bad guy. Who are you? You're not going to convince anyone because no one thinks that. You can read as much of it as you want. We're on the same page. Nobody likes the guy. Especially not brown people who've had to live in the United States post 9/11, dude. Okay? I'm telling you, the level of Islamophobia that Muslim-appearing people have had to deal with in the U.S., it's enough to make anyone hate the guy, okay? It genuinely is. But why? Just why would you make such a stupid... It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre to me.
I continued, by the way. So I wanted to provide some excerpts from his letter. He said, "What are we calling you to do? What do we want from you?" He goes on to express the kind of conservative moral panic and righteousness that it's hard to believe a TikTok or whatever sport. That's true. We call on you to be a people of manners, principles, honor, and purity, to reject the immoral acts of fornication, homosexuality, intoxicants, gambling, and trading with interest.
Fuck, dude. A lot of my favorite things.
Dude, yeah. You are the worst
Maybe not the
civilization
trading with
witnessed by the history of mankind. And then here's another one, just again, he wrote a lot more, and it's all about, most of it is like shit like this. The first thing that we are calling you to do is to, sorry, let me reread that. The first thing that we are calling you to is Islam, complete submission to Islamism, and of the discarding of all the opinions, orders, theories, religions which contradict with the religion. Bin Laden later railed against the U.S. Constitution, lamenting, "You are the nation who, rather than ruled by the Sharia of Allah and its constitutional laws, choose to invent your own laws and will as you desire." I mean, you know,
Democracy.
that you know, it's worth, let's not oversimplify things to the point where Osama bin Laden's the good guy.
Zedgar, thank you so much for the tier 1. Again, I feel compelled to say this is a total waste of time because nobody is supporting bin Laden. This is a conversation about blowback. This is a conversation about culpability of the United States. The U.S., in its intervention, caused 9/11. He seems to comprehend this idea when Hassan said America deserved 9/11. He seems to understand that. He seems to get, oh, yeah, you're talking about this and this and this. But for some reason, when it's random people online, it has to be that they're trying to support bin Laden. So any attempt that he's making to try and convince us that bin Laden was a bad guy, it's not a dunk because we already know. We already know. Like, what?
I mean, and as a Jewish person, I have a hard time just like accepting the fact that a guy who believed that like all Jews are evil and run the world, right? That this is like a based guy. You know, I'm not just, but anyway, whatever. So I was like, nobody's going to actually die on this hill. It just annoys me, but they did.
I mean, just as an American, you should have a problem with that.
I love the world that they live in where they're like, isn't it crazy that people support bin Laden and they're Americans and they support him? Well, my source for the claim? Why? I don't know. I feel like some people are supporting him because they're upset at me. And they couldn't be upset at me for a valid reason. They have to be upset at me because I said something based. Namely, fuck bin Laden. It's just, how do you not say that sentence and think for a second, wait. Are we sure that Americans are supporting bin Laden? We should double check and make sure we're sure about that. That seems a little crazy. It's the same shit as the Haitians eating cats and dogs thing. It's like, dude, 20,000 immigrants, they're all eating the cats and the dogs. And the geese, apparently, too. They're eating all of the animals. They're eating all of the pets. Yeah. I will regurgitate this as if I know it to be true, although I don't, and on principle, it sounds so ridiculous that you probably should double check, and yet, here we are.
You know, like on one hand, like I understand.
Yeah. What the fuck is this chat message? Ah, yes. The Petco turducken. You're a sick fuck. Stop.
That America fucked with the Middle East a lot and in a sense reaped what it sowed. But at the other end, this guy is a terrorist who fucking hates Western democracy, liberal democracy, freedom, rights for people. And that is not what the fuck we're about.
I mean, yeah, also as an Arab or a Muslim growing up after 9/11, like Osama bin Laden has always been like the idea of like evil in my mind. You know, for obvious reasons, like a lot of Americans, but also because what he did to our people, like and how people looked at us and all the abuse that we've gone through
Which is what I was
because of
talking
him.
about.
And Islam itself, just not going to go into too deep about this, but Islam means peace. And Islam is all about, for religious people, is about you're supposed to share, you could share the knowledge, but never force someone by any means to become a Muslim.
Interesting.
So just
By any means?
Huh?
So not flying an airplane?
No,
into a
yeah, no,
building?
none of that.
Oh,
that.
okay.
That doesn't count.
That doesn't count.
Yeah.
Interesting. They thought that would. We're like, oh shit. Well, you better. You know what? I'm seeing these guys are onto something after like 9/11. This cheese is spicy.
Yeah, I mean, if I want to extend a little bit of grace to some of these people that I'm assuming have not actually taken the time to fully read his manifesto or his writings or whatever, there are parts of it where he's critiquing U.S. imperialism and messing with countries in the Middle East, like you said, and it can come across as like, okay, he's making some points here, but like you have to read on, like
Yes.
you can't just read like the. You can't read.
All of his fans in the comments also are debating AB because he said this, insisting Islam is a religion of war. Yeah. 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 People, it's really sad actually, but there are so many people who are super brainwashed into thinking that like Islam is uniquely evil, and they have no idea that like the Bible and the Quran are straight up just one guy giving his homework to another guy and saying, just change it a little bit, okay? There is just as much heinous shit in the Bible as there is in the Quran. And there is just as much based shit in the Bible as there is in the Quran. It's based off the same source material, dude. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's based off the same shit. They don't like it when you say that. Yeah, it's very bizarre to me that Americans, specifically American Christians, obviously not all American Christians, but there is a subset of American Christians that are so sure that their book is so based and doesn't have anything evil or bad in it. Unlike the Quran, which is very evil and is the epitome of evil. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Religious patch update. Yeah, same shit, just rebranded. Yeah. They're called Abrahamic religions for a reason, okay? It's because they're like this. Judaism is in there as well. But Christianity and Islam are like, they're like this straight up. It's because Christians usually don't even read the Bible. Yes, correct. Yes. The Old Testament is horrifying. There's a million things in the Old Testament, but what Christians love to say is, well, we don't listen to the Old Testament. We're only about the New Testament, which is bullshit because the New Testament specifically says everything in the Old and New Testament is the Word of God, for starters. But second, there's also a bunch of fucked up shit in the New Testament. The New Testament is like talking about how you are totally based for beating your slaves. And if they speak back to you, it is your divine right to beat the shit out of your slaves. Where are the Christians defending that? I don't know, man. That seems pretty bad. I don't know. That seems pretty not good. Owning slaves and then God telling you you can beat the shit out of them. Those seem pretty not good, man. I don't know. We're not going to talk about that. Got it. You're not supposed to take that part literally. What are you talking about? Unless you're doing sarcasm, in which case, yeah.
The back cover on this one, like you should delve a little bit deeper because the further you read, the more it's like, oh, he's fucking insane. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Going down here, and basically that's all I was saying. And I can't believe people actually got baited into defending Osama bin Laden, which I'm looking for. Where? Oh God, Info Brennan, the lady. Oh, that's my stream video. Where's the first one of the comrade, whatever?
I'll send you this album of your stories.
Thank you. Perfect. So the first thing I saw was this dude named Comrade Casey, whose response to...
This was the guy who made the video about why leftovers is never coming back.
And again, I'm showing his literal words. Comrade Casey says, Ethan Klein has never heard of historical analysis. And I'm thinking, like, we can analyze it all we want. That's his literal words. Like, he's just like, I hate Jewish people and I want to kill people who have freedoms, who aren't following Sharia law all the time. And they're
How about all of the paragraphs before that on why they're doing it? We're not going to talk about it? No? No? Okay. He's still proving his point? Yeah. Like, I will tell you, if you actually sit down and read Osama bin Laden's manifesto, you will see there is a large sum of it dedicated to talking about how U.S. intervention is what caused this, namely the attack on the Twin Towers. And then it is a description of how America will be saved and how we need to remove women's ability to vote, and we need to, flagellate the gays, and we need to kill all the Jews or whatever. Like, this feels like reading an incel's manifesto and coming to the conclusion that the guy just really wanted to kill people. It's like, wait, what about all of the paragraphs before then dedicated to how much of a loser the guy was and how he got bullied, and how he couldn't handle getting bullied, and how women rejected him, and then he killed all those people? You're like isolating all the shit that happened before then and pretending like, no, bin Laden very clearly, all he cared about was just killing as many heretics in the United States as possible. That's just fucking stupid. It's like, oh my God, man. Like, you can think bin Laden was evil and also recognize that he said something beyond just, we got to kill all the Jews. Because no one's supporting that shit, man. Other than Nazis, maybe. But there are no Nazis here. There are no Nazis in this community. And if you are one, and you're here, I don't know what the fuck you're doing here. You're in the wrong place, dog. And there are no Nazis in Hassan's community. It's like filled with lefties. Like, it's so disingenuous. I don't know. It's just disingenuous.
Like, well, what did he really mean by that? It's like, he said what he fucking meant. It's obnoxious, but this isn't actually the most obnoxious. Then comes everybody's favorite Hassan moderator, two-time rising star. Let's make it 3. Frogan. I'm sorry, but the two-time rising star thing is so funny. Like, you get that once.
Are you sure she's 2 times?
Yes. I even fact-checked it. I even fact-checked it. She won back-to-back.
He fact-checked it. Oh, I'm so proud of you, Ethan Klein. ChatGPT. Is this true? Sorry, that one was out of pocket. I couldn't resist. Okay.
Here, let's do a double fact-check.
I think she only won it once.
No. Hold on. Rising Star Award twice.
Oh, she was nominated.
So she won once and was nominated the next year.
Yeah.
So she didn't win twice. So, I mean, it's still funny.
May your cat.
But I guess not as funny.
Do you want to say hi to stream?
Well, it's been long enough. Let's get her back on the ballot. She said, so here I am saying, actually, Osama bin Laden bad. And her response was, this motherfucker never shuts up. Oh, my God.
I mean, you could shut up yourself. Just saying, but like.
Well, every time I've gotten into it with her, she has started and to put herself in the middle of a charged conversation that I'm having. And then every time I say, okay, let's engage, then she's like, I can't believe he would.
Okay, but the best part about it. Oh, may your cat. Yes. Yes, you want to sit down. Okay. The best part about this is he's actually doing the silence Muslim woman. Jewish man is speaking. How dare you comment on the words I say publicly on the internet? Can't you see I'm speaking right now? But he just put his opinion out there. What are you talking about? They just told her that maybe she should stop talking, and then he just said he's trying to talk. So yeah, that's what they said.
The focus on a smaller creator. It's like, listen, just stop talking shit. You know, this is the girl who was on in Hassan's Discord saying Ethan hates
I just got it. And is this from a recent stream? Oh, this was from their stream yesterday.
Arabs because I unfollowed her on Twitter. And just remember where this all started. I quietly unfollowed her on Twitter because
This guy is so terminally online. It's like a little concerning. I'm going to be honest. Oh, man, dude. Oh, man. Dude, go. I just don't understand. Go enjoy life. You have a wife, a kid, or multiple, a family, a house, and you're spending your time reading comments that make you mad, dude. Fucking go enjoy life. You did it, man. You did it. You won making content on the internet. You did it. Oh, gosh.
not want any issues. She was posting stuff about October about October 7th that I thought was distasteful and was upsetting to me. And so I silently unfollowed her. I don't know what's a better way to do than that. And from that, she started, you know, shitting and pissing and saying that I'm Islamophobic, that I hate Arabs and that all this kinds of stuff. And it's like, okay, well, let me say something about that. So of course I had to respond here, and I said, "Oh, here's what
He had to respond.
I said. I said tankies falling over themselves to defend Osama bin Laden should tell you all you need to know about their movement." And you really do. It's like you can like give historical analysis.
Are the tankies that are falling over themselves to defend Osama bin Laden in the room with us right now? Are they in the room with us? SN, thank you for the tier 1.
But this guy is literally saying, like, wow, are you dumb that he hated us for our freedoms? And it's like, well, he did. And other things.
Mm-hmm.
So what the fuck do you mean? Anyway.
He also hated every other country that was governed similarly to the United States. But you want to know why they didn't fucking send planes into Big Ben? They didn't send planes into Big Ben because it was U.S. intervention that shitted up their country. The tipping point, what is it? What's the saying? Broke the camel's back. Is the shit that the United States did. The straw.
Here is Frogan telling me to shut up when don't shut your mouth when you're criticizing Osama bin Laden. I said, this is a Hassan mod telling me, a Jewish man, to shut the fuck up because I dare to say Osama bin Laden was bad and hated Jews. Please understand this is why Leftovers ended and that her voice is not fringe within his community. And yeah, I mean, I've never come out and said it explicitly, but it is kind of, I think I have more or less, but like, yeah, I mean, his community is the reason that I no longer wanted to do the show. It was not all of it, but like a large contingency of it was really, in my opinion, not something I wanted to be involved in.
The dialogue that they were having about us Was pretty wild.
It was, in my opinion, not something I wanted to be involved in, and not something I certainly wanted to have on my channel and promote and have people going, entering a community that says such things about me. You know what I mean? Like, now I don't believe Hassan has these views, but or at least he doesn't voice these views. I don't believe.
This is the meme again. We're doing the meme again. This is it. This is the meme again. Someone please, he needs to see this shit to understand. Let me pull it up. Where'd it go? Oh, I guess maybe I didn't like it. It was the know your workplace something. And it's like Hassan talking to some lady saying like, America deserved 9/11. And then her saying, oh, you're sweet. Know the rules? Yeah. Except a random person on Twitter saying the same thing. And he's like, excuse me, hello, HR? It's the same shit. Everyone is saying the same thing. Everyone is only talking about the fact that the United States should be held responsible at the end of the day for 9/11. The same way that people say Israel should be held responsible for the attack on October 7th. Why do people say that? They say that because Israel knew about the threat. They knew like a lot of information about it. They knew how many people it was going to be. They knew what weapons they were going to have. They even knew what time and day it was supposed to happen. And they didn't fucking do anything because they, I think publicly on the official record, they say that they didn't think it was a serious concern. But in my opinion, I think most people agree that it's what Netanyahu wanted because it would justify his bombarding of Gaza. So yeah, when people say Israel should be held responsible, or people, at the very least, people in Israel should hold their government responsible for the deaths that occurred in their country, that's what they mean. They don't mean that, although given the Hannibal doctrine and given the footage we have now of IDF fucking airstriking actual Israeli civilians, maybe they literally did kill a good number of their own people. But when people talk about Israel being held responsible for October 7th, they're saying you have a responsibility to protect your civilians that live in your country, and you did jack shit to protect them. And you can hear Israelis complain about this. This is a big reason why Israelis are so mad and why Israelis, even fucking anti-Arab Israelis, are so upset about Netanyahu. It's because they think that their government failed them. They had the knowledge and they did nothing with it. They didn't even bother. It's the same shit. Americans criticizing America for not giving a fuck about how their intervention would crash and burn and would have consequences.
I believe he does. He's more thoughtful. But a lot of people, for some reason, in his community, do have these views. And I continued on here. And again, as a Jewish man in a time of rising anti-Semitism, like, who the fuck are these people to tell me what is and isn't anti-Semitic and what I should and shouldn't be offended by? Like, imagine lecturing any other minority group on like what is and isn't okay.
Imagine lecturing a minority group about what is and what isn't okay. Imagine. Can you imagine? I can only imagine. That's never happened before, and definitely not by anyone that is currently showing on the screen.
And this whole Zionism thing is just so fucked up. It's basically a purity test on Jews. You got to be, are you a good Jew or a bad Jew? So in what world is that normal?
There is not a single Jew that I know. Okay. Jewish person that I know of that's like, I hate that there's all these Palestinians that, and all these Americans that want me to care about Palestine so I can be a good Jew. I don't know a single Jewish person who's thought that. All the Jewish people I know are super based, and they're like, yeah, no. Never again means never again. What? What the fuck are you talking about? I have to care about this so I'm a good Jew or something? What? No, I'm against the genocide of any people. That's wrong. Has nothing to do with any of whatever the fuck you're talking about.
To be like, sorry, no Zionists, death to Zionists. So, you go to all these campuses, no Zionists allowed. So they're saying, are you a good Jew or are you a bad Jew? That's the conversation. And again, I emphasize this because I don't think people appreciate it, but 90% of the world's Jews would be considered Zionist.
This is not true. This is totally not true.
And I think that the whole Zionist thing is like again, not all Zionists are anti-Semitic.
Source, I made it the fuck up.
But a lot of anti-Semites are using this Zionism cover as like a easy backdoor to being like deeply anti-Semitic. Because, again, you're doing a purity check on me saying, are you the good Jew or the bad Jew? And that's just fucking insane. You can't do that to anyone else. And again, it's 90% that part of the propaganda is they convincing people that Zionism is not the majority of Jewish people and that it's some fringe belief and stuff. But that in actuality, it's 90% of Jews who support Israel. And if they were overtly hating 90% of an ethnic group, that would make them racist. So it's kind of like a mind trick to allow them to be racist without having to be racist. And again,
It's also the way the word is being used. I don't feel like
it's being deployed like a slur. Yeah.
if somebody says that to me,
I get called that.
That is a very cute attempt at like muddying the water, Mr. Kline. Except one quick thing here. Except when you actually pull up the poll from the data that you're talking about, let me find it. You're actually talking about how Jewish people feel about Israelis, not how Jewish people feel about the Israeli government. This Pew Research poll shows, thinking about the situation with Israelis and Palestinians these days, percentage of Jewish Americans who have a favorable view of each of the following. All Jewish adults, 90% of them have a favorable opinion about Israeli people. Oh, what's that? They only 54% of them have a favorable view of the government? Whoa, that stat doesn't seem as cool anymore once you remove the people from the government. But that's cute for you to say, for you to misrepresent that into 90% of Jews love Israel. Meanwhile, 90% of Jews have a favorable opinion of the Israeli people, which is fair. And only 50% of them have a positive opinion about the Israeli government. No shit. It's almost like the government and the state is different from the people who live there. Whoa. He actually said 90% of Jews are Zionists, to be clear. Yeah. Which is literally, this is not even accurate. This is, I assume that this is the poll that he pulled up. And this is not even accurate. Stingy Californian, thank you so much for the 27 months.
That all the time.
It feels like they are cursing me, and it feels like a bad word.
Oh, it is. They use it like that. And again, I'm a Jew.
This echo chamber is so... man.
Who is like, by any means, certainly if I am Zionist, the least Zionist of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I get called a Zionist up and down the fucking internet all day, every day, by Nick Fuentes people, by Sneeko people, and by Hassan people. You know? And like, I shouldn't have to fucking take it. You know, we were taught that being a racist for the last 2 decades, that being a racist is the worst thing you can be.
Right.
And I happen to agree that it's a very bad thing to be. However, when it comes to Jews, it's like, oh, not you though. You're a Zionist. Also, Zionism, again, when I say Zionism, it's not about Middle East domination. It's not about racism. It's not about apartheid. It literally just means that, like, Jewish people having a country. That's all it means. Everything else is extra. Everything happening in the West Bank and Gaza is extra. It's just to do with Jews wanting to have a homeland. It was galvanized specifically after World War II when...
Oh, you want to have a homeland, and that's why you killed all those people? That's why you did the Nakba? Oh, well, then that's fine. Yeah, for sure. Well, that makes it totally okay. For sure, for sure, for sure. Just forcibly take whatever land you want. That's fair. Yeah, no. That's fair. That's fair. That's totally fair. Those 400,000 people can find a new home.
When all the surviving Jews said, like, let's not fucking do that again. And they said, let's get a country so we don't have to rely on other countries to protect us and to, like, tolerate us. Because, you know, as we know, the history of the Jewish people is just like expulsion after expulsion and then into Holocaust. And so they said it came from this desire. It predates World War II, but it was galvanized afterwards to say, like,
do you think he's purposefully trying to change the meaning of Zionism, or he's legitimately uninformed? No, I think he's just delusional. I think he can't handle the idea that people dislike him or that they criticize him for valid reasons. So he has to make up reasons that are absolutely ridiculous. And that's why people don't like him. It can't be that I'm saying a bunch of insane shit that's like Islamophobic. And before anyone says, when did he ever say something that was Islamophobic? People have been pulling up the old bangers, I guess. And I've totally forgot about this one. This random guy, Muhammad, saying, I'm in South Beach having fun on drugs. And then him quote tweeting it. This is a real tweet. Him quote tweeting it saying, enjoy your drugs and being a sex worker. Hamas would kill you on the spot. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. For sure. It can't be that you do and say shit like this, and this is why people call you a Zionist. It has to be that they don't like you because you're Jewish. And that they're just using Zionists so that they can use a secret dog whistle to talk about how anti-Semitic they are. But unironically, that's what he thinks.
We should get a country so we don't have to do this anymore. That's it. That's all it is. And read the polls. I think people need to reckon with this fact that 90% of Jewish people think that the state of Israel is important to their identity, or that means something to them. Again, all the other bad shit, the warmongering, war cabinet, Netanyahu, the fucking all the checkpoints in the West Bank and all the war happening in Gaza and all this types of shit is extra.
He needs to repeat that.
To their identity, or that means something to them. Again, all the other bad shit, the warmongering, war cabinet, Netanyahu, the fucking all the checkpoints in the West Bank and all the war happening in Gaza and all this types of shit is extra. It's got nothing to do with Zionism. This is just
the creation and maintenance of an ethnostate requires persistent violence against the people who live there. The people who have lived there for generations. the act of purging the undesirables from your ethnostate is part of Zionism. That's part of it. It has everything to do with Zionism. You can't just remove the bad things from the good things and be like, no, that's not, we don't, no, you're mistaken. No. Oh, hi, Cece.
Just a bad government doing bad things.
Right.
Yeah. That's so, you know, it's frustrating and it's hurtful to see people who are. And by the way, the thing with Frogan too is like, she was apparently a big fan of the show for years since we started doing Leftovers. And I've never hid my views. Like I'm married an Israeli. I lived in Israel. So I don't know what all of a sudden, like, I'm a Zionist all of a sudden. It's like, well, I don't know. But imagine saying to someone who is like, Osama bin Laden, bad, actually. This motherfucker never shuts up. Somebody said, and I can't remember who, but I'd like to give you credit, that it's like when the quartering, he quote tweeted, he has this famous quote tweet where he goes, someone said like Hitler is bad. And then he quote tweeted and said like, there we go. Yikes.
But the problem is you haven't shown anyone who's done this.
It's like Osama bin Laden bad. Frogan's like, yikes.
That's not what she said. In fact, because you're playing all this like, well, need some tea. Because of all this misinfo you're running and this entire misinfo campaign you're running, it's crazy that she had to say it, but she had to publicly come out and say, I am not pro bin Laden. LMAO, it is insane to take any legitimate political analysis from Ethan Klein. No one is show me these people that are defending bin Laden. Show them to me. Are they in the room with us right now?
You know, why even stick your neck out there for Osama bin Laden? So I responded to the inevitable anger. Let me say I give zero fucks about Frogan's crocodile tears. I'm not saying she actually cried, by the way. I saw people saying, did she actually cry? I don't know if I was just talking. Just that she complains when I talk about her, that I'm a big creator and I shouldn't talk about small creators. She has inserted herself in the middle of my conversations many times and cries when I respond to her. She's an official representative of Hassan's community, and the pressure should be on her to behave better and not make his entire community look bad. And I also blame Hassan for continually hand-waving her horrific behavior to the point that it feels to me like an endorsement. And this is the issue. And fuck Osama bin Laden and this life and the next. Yeah. That's my problem. Frogan's been doing this shit, and people like her. The whole mod team, from what I've seen, or most of them, are very much this. I mean, and, you know, it makes Hassan look
Dude, this
bad.
guy's fighting a war against no one. This feels like watching the clip of the cop that had an acorn fall on his tree and then he started shooting. He's like, dude, there's someone after me. Shots fired. Shots fired.
Bad. It makes me, as his friend, feel bad. And it makes me feel like he's endorsing their opinions. You know, it's one thing to tell me in private, like, you know, just so you know, like she's just this way, and I know that she doesn't mean it, and all this kinds of stuff. But like, it's another thing to publicly continue to platform her, and also not to address a massive portion of your audience that is just straight up fucking anti-Semitic. And not all, obviously, like the vast majority of them are cool. And a lot of people watch both of our shows, and that's cool and good. But there is a lot of people in his audience, and I don't believe he's willing to reckon with this, that are anti-Semitic. They are. or just like overly hateful, even not even
Mhm.
anti-Semitic, just like
Right.
overly hateful, you know. So that's what.
I think Ethan Klein would I think he would retire if his audience ever harassed him. Because he actually has no idea how bad his audience is and how bad his fans are. And unfortunately, he never will know unless they literally all turn against him. But I think he gets a little bit of a taste when fans or ex-fans talk about them, you know, not liking him anymore. So to listen, man, okay? To get upset about Hassan's audience being mean to you is like crazy because Hassan's audience is they're so mild. They're so mild. Like the harassment that people have gotten from Hassan's community is it's 90% of the harassment is people saying, I know you can be better than this. Why are you engaging in Zionist talking propaganda? And then they type a fucking essay. Like it is not. No, I refuse to believe that anyone is sending him DMs saying like, you fucking Jewish piece of shit. I hate Jewish people. Like, this is not what's happening. There are, I think, a lot of people maybe in Hassan's community, like in most communities. Oh, hi, Mike. They're too nice, to be honest. Used to be such a huge fan, changed so much of my opinion of them. Canceling my membership to them now. I'm so sad. Yeah. Hassan's fans or like the Hassan community, their biggest problem, in my opinion, which I'm pretty sure Hassan agrees, is that they get maybe sometimes a little too parasocial. Some Hassan Abi heads get a little too parasocial, and then they start assuming things about Ethan Klein and Hassan's friendship. And I think that's where it gets bad. But in terms of like hostile racism, that's a joke. That's not what's that. No, you fucking made that up, dude. No.
What I mean here, to call out Hassan a little bit, is that as a friend of his, I feel like absolutely fucking worthless to the way he's running his community. And I just think like if one of our mods was like shit talking one of my friends, like they would not be working with us. You know what I mean? If like one of our, if Avery, God bless his soul, and he's the sweetest guy ever and would never do anything, but like if he started tweeting with like calling Tana like a skank and a slut or something, I mean, I'm being hyperbolic. But you think that we would be cool with that? That I would let him continue to be a moderator?
But like Frogan didn't do that. Frogan called you. I know he's being hyperbolic, but the thing is, Frogan didn't attack you for some innate quality or something beyond your control, or just because she wanted to make fun of you. She insulted your opinions that were bad. She called out your dog shit political opinions about Israel and Palestine. That's fair game, man. Like, that's fair game as far as I'm concerned.
And to continue to have lead conversations in our Discord and our chat, fuck that. Hell no. You know, no. So I say this with great regret, and I hate to be controversial on this Friday, but fuck Osama bin Laden.
Wow.
I know it's a brave stance to take, and I hate to have to be the one to say it, but fuck Osama bin Laden. Oh, I saw Frogan's response is like, I never said I support Osama bin Laden. It's like, well, what did you mean then?
Oh my God. See, this is what I mean when I say that he's deluded himself into thinking they have to be Osama bin Laden supporters. because they would never attack me for anything else because I'm based. Oh, God. I talked about this on stream. Basically, he wants to be able to be an open Zionist while a genocide is going on and not have them be questioned. And he's trying to leverage his personal relationship in order to pressure other creators to protect him from criticism about those views. If you hate Osama bin Laden, then you should hate U.S. foreign policy, giving more weapons to the Saudi regime. Yes, perfectly said. 100% agree. It's just... It feels a lot like his positions on being a capitalist, except with being a capitalist, his workers are in the room as he's saying he doesn't want to pay them a fair wage. Fair being like co-op, okay, to be very clear, not like livable standard or whatever. I'm talking about, well, no, but I feel like this is my show. I shouldn't have to have a co-op for my show. That's what I was saying, to be very clear, nothing else. It's like, same shit. It's like, I want to be a Zionist. What do you mean you're going to criticize me for wanting to be a Zionist? For wanting the state of Israel to continue doing what it's doing. And to allow the state of Israel to keep all of the homes that they've kicked Palestinian people out of.
She said the same thing before when she was like, what did you think resistance looked like? And referring to October 7th. And I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? She goes, I wasn't saying that they're the good guys. Well, what do you mean?
What does it mean when you tell Ethan to shut up?
When I'm saying Osama bad. This mother, I mean, listen, if you don't know what your words mean, then you need to be probably not entering this conversation.
You have to be so brain rotted to read the quote tweet, this motherfucker never shuts up, which is very clearly insulting Ethan Klein for continuing to talk about politics in the Middle East, despite having very little understanding of politics in the Middle East. And assuming that she has to be supporting bin Laden. That almost feels like a little Islamophobic. Like, just a little like, the hijabi woman getting mad at me for being annoying. It must be that she loves bin Laden. It just feels a little... Also, not understanding what blowback is. The United States supported militant Islamist movements as a counter to socialist and secular pan-Arab nationalist movement. Like, we created textbooks for the Taliban with the CIA programs. We support Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states as they funded ISIS. Oh, yeah. The number of like hyper-religious paramilitary groups that the U.S. has funded to destabilize nations in the Middle East because socialists were gaining power. How many times has it happened?
If you can't choose your words good enough, because there's no other reasonable way to interpret that. In my opinion, and that's basically my explanation. I got tilted. I've been upset about all the anti-Semitism that I'm seeing. I mean, listen, it's so commonplace. It's everywhere on the internet.
Yeah, anti-Semitism is everywhere on the internet, but it's like the Groypers posting it. Can I see some of like the Hassan Abi heads that are being anti-Semitic? I'm the first person to say that, yes, we have a lot of anti-Semitism in our country. We have a lot of anti-Semitism online. And there are a lot of anti-Semites. The anti-Semites on the internet are not calling you a Zionist. They're just going to call you a Jew. Derogatory. And those are the Groypers and Nazis on the internet.
I've never seen it like this in my lifetime.
You know, it would be a good question asking Lolo LOL overruled, asking him how anti-Semitic Hassan's community is. I mean, one of the focuses of Western diplomacy in the early Cold War was to prevent a pan-Arab state and that would be a world superpower. So we supported corrupt regimes like the Shah in Iran, military dictatorship in Egypt, the House of Saud, etc. We've been focusing on keeping Arabs divided and oppressed as a fact. Oh, yeah, 100%. Not that Iran is Arab, but it's part of the Middle East, and that's the point where we want control. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Iranians are like, let's be real, they are honorary Arabs. The same thing with Turkish people. Turkish people are honorary Arabs, okay? They're welcomed in, okay? They're welcomed in. Or like, yeah, how about you talk to like Nandre? Ask Nandre how much anti-Semitism is in Hassan's community. Oh, it's almost like none of those people, none of the Jewish people that show up on Hassan's stream and none of the Jewish people that associate with Hassan experience any anti-Semitism. It's almost like they don't support an ethnostate and they don't support a genocide. And people don't criticize them because they're not supporting a genocide. And when you support a genocide, people are going to call you a Zionist because that's what you are. That's what you are. Felix from Chapo? Yeah.
It's nonstop. This guy's running up on me. I mean, essentially, again, calling us a Zionist, saying I look like a rapist and that I'm ugly.
I mean, poor Brad Taste had to apologize for taking a picture with us.
Right. Right.
And,
exactly.
having a whole storm in his life ever since, I feel like.
By the way, speaking of Brad, poor Brad.
Yeah.
His life has fallen apart ever since he met me. Did you think about that?
I don't know who Brad is. I'm sorry. Hassan is very adamant about calling out chatters who are being anti-Semitic. I mean, everybody's heard about the Nazi bar, right? If you tolerate a Nazi in a bar, your bar is now a Nazi bar. And I feel the same way. Like, the second anyone in here says some weird anti-Semitic shit, they're like, yeah, free Palestine. I also hate Jewish people. I'm like, sorry, you must be lost. Permaban. Following for 5 minutes. Okay, that makes sense. Yes, that makes sense. And then you publicly execute them to show everyone else, this is not welcome here. If you are a Nazi, you are not welcome here. At any point, current, past, future, never. Ethan already claimed Hassan was tokenizing Jews before in their last public debate. He would just do that again. Yeah.
All this terrible stuff happening is
Hopefully.
Oh, Brad is some Sneeko fan that ran up on Ethan and called him a Zionist and a terrorist and a pedophile. And then Ethan spent the past 3 hours demolishing him on the show and now frames this whole Zionist conversation around himself. All I needed to hear was Brad is a Sneeko fan.
Takes a break and I don't know, takes good care of himself.
Let's get him into Brad the Bull. Let's build him up.
Brad the Bull.
Yeah, so I know a lot of y'all don't want to believe it and you don't want to hear it, but we don't let other people just sit and take like racism and disgusting shit being said about them. And so, you know, I'm not going to sit here and take it about myself. And I've never in my life had to like address anti-Semitism or anything like this. You know what I mean? Like I've never seen it like this before, ever. And it's troubling, you know, and I don't talk about it all the time and I don't plan to really talk about it at all, ever, unless it just like comes up like this. Because listen, Jews aren't the most, it's not like they're the most oppressed group. I mean, Jews in America enjoy a lot of freedom and respect within the culture. Some people said it's the golden age of Jews in America. And that's true. But I'm also seeing really concerning things that I feel is important to call out. And a lot of that stuff I'm seeing fester in Hassan's community. starting with his mods, who are official representatives. Like the first thing is
Here's-
They are
here's the
not. They
question.
are not
Yeah, go ahead.
official
What is the difference
representatives.
between
This is so bizarre to call mods official representatives of a community. Moderators are, unfortunately, they're janitors for Twitch chat, okay? There's no anti-Semitism in Hassan's community that I'm aware of. It's anti-Zionism. Those are two completely separate ideologies. One is the criticism of the state of Israel and their genocidal actions, nothing to do with the Jewish people. Precisely. Also, like, this notion is also really ridiculous as well, that you have to have exactly the same opinions as sorry, I got distracted. You have to have exactly the same opinions as the streamer that you moderate for. Otherwise, you're not allowed to moderate for them. You can't be your own person. No? Okay, got it. Okay. No one can represent Hassan except Hassan. It's like when X and Train tried to say that Austinox was a reflection of Hassan. These are all adults with their own thoughts and feelings. They don't always fully agree with Hassan's takes. Yeah.
Hassan having a friendship and being charitable with Frogan, and Ethan being buddies with MAGA supporters who say extremely racist shit all the time.
Well, they're not official
It's-
representatives of my show. I
Yeah.
don't employ Steve will do it to moderate my chat and to lead conversations in my Discord.
Mhm.
And I don't endorse him. Like if Steve will do it says something racist, I'm gonna say that was fucking racist, and it's got nothing to do with me.
We
Just because
participated.
We have to go back. We have to go back.
Some people said it's the golden age of Jews in America. And that's true. But I'm also seeing really concerning things that I feel is important to call out. And a lot of that stuff I'm seeing fester in Hassan's community, starting with his mods, who are official representatives. Like the first thing is,
Here's a question.
yeah, go ahead.
What is the difference between Hassan having a friendship and being charitable with Frogan, and Ethan being buddies with MAGA supporters who say extremely racist shit all the time?
Well, they're not official
It's-
representatives of my show. I
Yeah.
don't employ Steve will do it to moderate my chat and to lead conversations in my Discord.
Mhm.
And I don't endorse him. Like if Steve will do it says
I'm
something
sorry. Frogan is being employed to lead discussions in his Discord? Since when?
racist, I'm going to say that was fucking racist, and it's got nothing to do with me.
We
Just because
participated.
I said hi to him once or sat at a poker table with him once.
Yeah, we
Is- is-
participated.
Also, the reason that Hassan isn't attacking or criticizing Frogan is because Frogan didn't say anything crazy. Frogan the entire time has just been saying the occupation of Palestine is wrong. And saying America deserved 9/11, which is something that Hassan has said many times. There's nothing for him to correct the record on. There's nothing for him to make adjustments to. She hasn't said anything that is so starkly different from his takes. Like, what?
participated at the same event.
He
So it
can-
doesn't mean anything about us working together or Steve having any say about what kind of conversation is going to happen at our podcast.
Yeah, I mean,
But
listen, and
the moderators are an extension of you. They're an extension of Ethan right now, where if there's
Yeah,
something
they
going
represent
on
the
in the
show.
chat that we are not okay with, like somebody saying a slur, they're going to remove that.
Yeah, they represent the show. And it's not the first time, again, Frogan, this is time and time again, where he's allowing this to continue to happen. And I mean, just Hassan stayed friends with people like Aiden Ross and XQC. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But the analogy is it's a different issue. I'm glad you asked because it's important to make that distinction. And if you have any questions, I'd love to field them thoughtfully and peacefully. But I hope that I've explained how very different those two things are. Also, Hassan is friends with Bradley, who's part of NALC. So again, I don't criticize him for that.
And also, like, people keep saying it since we went on the poker events, but we did events together with other people. I'm not actually hanging out with them on my
There's 80
Fridays
people
and on
to
my
us.
weekends and, like,
Oh, we're not.
chatting, you know, in my free time. There's a
don't-
big difference.
We don't work together at official capacity.
This is like rules for thee, but not for me.
you
I
know.
can sit at a table with a MAGA supporter. Yes, we can sit at a table together.
Yeah, and again, the big difference is the endorsement, the official partnership. If there's other questions, I'd love to hear them because I know people will have questions. And I don't want people to make any assumptions about what I'm saying.
When are we gonna dance, love?
Never.
When are we going to dance, love?
You would think with the way that Ethan Klein talks about Frogan is like using every anti-Semitic slur in the Discord. The way that he talks about her makes you think that she's like burning Torahs or some shit. Like, what the hell?
In
Right after the
Vegas
show.
next time?
Yeah, I'll dance in
and you?
Vegas. Yeah, fuck it.
Once we hit green, we'll be dancing.
I'll be dancing if we hit green. That's
Bro,
absolutely
I'm
fucking
so
right.
greened. I'm so greened pill with you.
Hell yeah, bro. Will you hit the buffalo a little bit for me? Or no?
Is that video roulette?
It's just like a slot. I know it's pretty gnarly.
I'm following your lead.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I don't know if there's any other questions.
Also, the guy who made the original video, the Casey, aka North Star Radio, NSR, he made this tweet, which I think is a pretty good summary of this entire stream. He says, Frogan and I said 16 words total without tagging Ethan or replying to him directly, but somehow Frogan inserted herself into a heated discussion.
She said, so here I am saying, actually, Osama bin Laden bad. And her response was, this motherfucker never shuts up. Oh, my God.
I mean, you could shut up yourself. Just saying, but like.
Well, every time I've gotten into it with her, she has started and to put herself in the middle of a charged conversation that I'm having. And then every time I say, okay, let's engage, then she's like, I can't believe he would focus on a smaller creator. It's like, listen, just.
Which, like, to pretend like that's what's happening when this is the reality, when two people talked about you, not even adding you, not responding to you directly, saying their own opinions, and then you getting mad about it, is calling it inserting yourself is crazy. Is insane. That's crazy. It's like going to like a news anchor and being like, I don't appreciate you inserting yourself into the drama between Harris and Trump. Like, what? What the fuck? What the hell? Also, how is that even any different from what he did with the Wow Mao tweet? Yeah, exactly. Also, Ethan isn't even on Twitter. He apparently doesn't use it. She didn't engage with him. She just talked about him on a platform he apparently, allegedly doesn't use. Yeah.
KETH, Los Angeles.
Thank you, Jack.
Casey is saying, I'm pretty sure Eli used the word bestie. I did, and it's called irony. Girl,
Yo, we're not obviously. I've been calling Stani my best friend.
do you guys
nonstop
like
'cause it's
not
a
watch us otherwise? Do you not know our sense of humor? Do you not know who I actually hang out with, which is basically only my husband and the kids? Like, we tell you everything about our life. I was joking. I was saying me and Bryce are basically besties now.
Sorry, I was just getting out of hand. Do you think anyone that defends Israel to this extent is genuine, or they're getting funding to do this type of spin? Oh, no. Don't worry. Hila definitely does it for pleasure, not business. She's an ex-IDF member that was bored at her desk job, so she wanted to go on a raid for fun. In one of those terrorist villages, like Ramallah.
That's a joke.
Clearly, she has not talked.
We're
to him.
not besties. I don't
At
ever
all.
talk to him outside of the poker event.
I doubt you guys even follow each other.
I can't
on
believe I
social
even need to say that.
media.
Yeah. And it's an ongoing
You don't
thing.
though. I can't believe people. Is that a serious question? Like, I don't
It
know.
is. I've seen it a lot since the poker thing. Yes.
But again, even if you were friends with Bryce, he's not an official representative of our community. So even if you were,
Couldn't
which
be
you're not,
further from it.
Yeah. Sorry, love. You're saying something?
Oh, I was just saying that that's like a long inside joke that when someone does one good thing to us,
Yeah.
we're like,
I
oh,
flip.
besties.
I
Like,
become their best friend.
I hate to
Right.
break character, but we do that all the time just for fun. Yeah,
I thought you were best friends.
exactly.
I do love Steiny.
What
He's my
the
boy.
hell?
Wait. What was that about the desk job? I'm working, half paying attention right now. Wait, she was IDF? Oh, you guys didn't know that? Yeah, it's like awful. Let's see if I can find it. I have a question for you, Alphaz. Ethan is right. Frogan just goes out of control. Genuine question. Do you think her tweeting in response to somebody else screenshotting his story, this motherfucker never shuts up, is going out of control? You can just say yes or no. There's no wrong answer. I'm just curious about what your opinion is. Big Muchacho, thank you for the tier 1. Let's see if I can find the original Frogan tweet. Big Sick Brain, thank you for the tier 1. In a tweet related to Osama bin Laden? Yes. So what should she do instead? What is your prescription for the problem? Off topic, you're my first sub. My dad watches you all the time. Thank you for these Ethan updates. Oh, thanks. Thanks. Welcome. Not tweet. So you think the correct remedy for this problem is that Frogan should stop tweeting about Ethan Klein? That seems fair to you. Silence, woman. A Jewish man is speaking. Do you not see how ridiculous that sounds? Do you not see how ridiculous it sounds to tell someone, you need to just stop tweeting? No, when you see an Ethan tweet and you think this will be a funny tweet and you want to respond to it, you better think again, bitch. Yeah, think again. You don't get to talk about this guy. You shouldn't be fucking talking about this guy. Do you see how that sounds? Do you see how that sounds? If you're on the internet as a public figure, which Ethan Klein is, people are going to talk about you. If your prescription is to tell all the people disagreeing with you, stop tweeting. No, you stop tweeting. You stop tweeting. Everybody stop tweeting. This isn't fair.
Free Palestine, Rathbo, Palestine art.
Do you not see how silly that sounds? King, thank you for the 4 months. Mr.
Ethan always
Glitchmaster.
gave me basement dweller vibes.
Yeah, thank you for the 15 months. It's just very ridiculous. It's very ridiculous. At Denims? Oh, is this the video of... Oh, this is the video of Ela talking about... Yes. About her desk job. I can't believe ones of you have seen this, twos of you haven't seen this. I'm surprised there aren't more people that I think have seen this.
You served in the military. And your whole family served in the military, right?
Mm-hmm.
How was your experience in the military?
It was okay. I didn't do anything like, I wasn't like a combative role.
Yeah, you weren't a fighter.
I wasn't a fighter, so I didn't have anything like crazy to tell. But I don't know. It's kind of like a mandatory job that you have to go to.
And you don't get paid for.
Yeah.
Someone said, is it like a forced vacation?
No.
No.
It's more like a forced job.
Forced up. Because what did you do? What was your role in the military?
At first, I was given a role that was like in an office somewhat close to my house in Tel Aviv.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of like going to a day job in an office. It happened right after there was some kind of a second war in, where was it, in Gaza?
I remember that, yeah.
There was some sort of a small war.
Yeah.
When I was there, and so my job was to, like, when they send officers or like people to go serve, I had to like logistically help with like their hotel or a room, things like that. But it was all on the computer. It just felt like some computer thing.
Right. Okay. So secretary.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it was super boring, and I really hated it. Because it was just like I had to take a bus super early, go there, spend the whole day, go back home. I hated it. So I tried to change my role. And it was something like you can apply for it, and it's a form that you fill out, and then they're going to give you something else, completely random. You have
Different
no
position.
idea.
Different post.
Yeah.
Different location.
So I decided to do that, and if I don't like the second one, then I'll just find a way to get out of the army.
It was that bad?
Yeah, I just didn't. I hated everything about it. Didn't want to do it.
I love like active apartheid state. Oh, I don't need to find a way to get out of this. I think the number is really high. It's like 40% of Israelis find a way to avoid the draft, or like the mandatory conscription. But then once the evil got boring, she was like, I gotta find a way to get out of this.
You just, because if you're doing something that it felt like I wasn't doing anything, like I was just wasting my life.
Yeah.
It could get really frustrating. I don't know.
Right.
And you got to do it for 2 years.
Right.
So I filled out that form and I tried it. And then I somehow ended up in a better place that I liked a lot more. Before it was a daily thing where you go back home every day. And the new one was in a way that was a base that was far from my house. So you go there for the whole week and then you come back for the weekend.
So you preferred that? Were you gone for a whole week?
I did.
Interesting. Why?
It was kind of like just more of an adventure, more of a different experience that I preferred than to just go to a boring job, sit on the computer and go back home at the end of every day. I don't know.
Were you doing secretary work there?
So, yeah, I was the secretary of the head of the, there's like a, I don't know the terms in English from the army.
Right. He was an
translate.
officer.
So there was I was in Duchifat, which is like a brigade, I guess, that's in charge of the area of Ramallah. And that brigade has like a main officer. So I was his secretary.
Okay, so you were right below the big boy. Cool.
So it was nice. It was interesting. It was more demanding in a way, but also
cool.
kind of more rewarding because you're put in this weird situation where you're like, you're away from your house. You have this new group of people that you have to get along with. And it's hard to explain, but for some reason it was more interesting. I enjoyed it more.
You told me once you went on like a mission with them to like a terrorist city.
Yeah.
That was kind of a crazy story.
Yeah, my officers and like the soldiers in that brigade, they would go every night on a raid in Ramallah to arrest terrorists. And
to arrest the terrorists in the terrorist city, Ramallah.
So I always saw them preparing for it and leaving, and then I would stay in the base. So one time I wanted to go with them just to experience it.
Why? You just were all of a sudden Had an urge to go with them?
I just wanted to see what it's like.
Right.
I wanted to see it.
Okay.
So they took me with them one night, even though they weren't supposed to.
Did they armor your ass up?
You're driving in this like Jeep that's bulletproof.
Right.
So I was in the Jeep, and then as soon as we entered Ramallah, the people in the city started shooting us.
Wow.
And I heard like a bullet hit the Jeep like right next to my head.
Did it like dent or just
No,
you
you
heard
just
it?
hear it.
It's a gnarly armored Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I mean, it was just interesting.
They were so someone actually was shooting the car when you went in there right away.
Yeah.
Huh. Did you have a gun on you?
I didn't.
You were not supposed to leave.
No, yeah, not really. But even if I I walked with them to one house.
Okay.
I did get out of the car once, but surrounded with them. So
Okay. Did they arrest anyone that night?
They did.
Did they bring it in the same car with you?
No.
Oh,
You
different
go.
car.
There's a few cars going.
Damn, that's crazy. Was it like? How did you feel? Was it horrifying?
It was strange. Very, very weird.
How so?
I don't know. Just you see people in the house, and then it's like the soldiers just walk into the house and look through their shit and find guns, and the whole thing is really surreal.
Incredible ending. Thank you for the sound effect at the end there. Excellent. You think she was completely aware of the genocide happening at the time, or she was more a subject of growing up in propaganda? I mean, I think she's still a subject of having grown up in that propaganda. And it's like, I'm all about people like growing and changing or whatever. I mean, there are a lot of ex-IDF members that currently live in Israel that try and help inform other people, and they give tours to show the state of Palestine because they grew up in the propaganda. They were brainwashed. They went on these field trips and they were like, we're kind of just like killing innocent people, actually. Actually, those are just kids. And what we're doing is wrong. Holy shit. No, this is just wrong. And those people that like are able to break the propaganda and are able to get out of the brainwashing, there's hope for everybody. And so I wouldn't hold this against her if her positions were changed. I'd be like, oh, okay, I mean, yeah, that's what growing up with propaganda and de-propagandizing yourself is like. But the problem is that she hasn't changed her opinions at all. Her opinions are still the same. She still probably thinks that like Israel's assault on Gaza is totally justified. So like, growing up in that can brainwash you. Oh yeah, 100%. But like you would hope that like humanity would like kick in, right? And it does for some people. She still calls it a war. Yeah, and it's not a war, it's an occupation. Let's finish this up and then we got some other stuff to talk about.
Anything else?
Let's see.
No other questions? Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Get me out of it.
Oh my.
Oh yeah.
This is still in the segment. So like,
It's a real slow drive as you go on. One, get around.
just gonna
You can. After this brief message.
Oh, okay.
Nobody ever asked this.
I'm with you guys.
I'm excited too.
It's
think
not
it's
really
over?
Fun City anymore. It's just Fun City.
one sec.
Box back.
Okay, there was one other part. Oh, sorry. It was muted, apparently. I don't know why.
By the way, again, I'm not like beefing
Chuck
with
Daly, thank you
randos
for
on
the
Twitter. She called me out for saying Osama bin Laden bad. You know what I mean? So, like,
I mean, the original person that you quote tweeted and put, or not quote tweeted, the original person, Wow Mao or whatever, you are beefing with random people. You are the one who started it by screenshotting that person being like, can you believe this guy is supporting 9/11? No, my brain didn't fully develop. And I can't comprehend that they could be possibly talking about anything else.
it's pretty fucking stupid. I condemn your mom in the most serious terms. Here is someone was curious where he stood on this. And I'm not disappointed. Oh, okay. So this guy's. So again, this is a post from 21. The Israeli government is making me sick.
21.
Even as Hamas is operating as civilian buildings, it doesn't justify the total destruction of that building. It's inhumane. Netanyahu is a piece of shit warmonger and needs to go. As a dual citizen, I love Israel and the Israeli people. See, that admission there by itself is like, I guess, a bridge too far for some people. And that makes me a Zionist. They deserve a government that actually believes in peace and not force and violence. The ultra-right Jewish settlers are among the greatest provocateurs in the world. They are shameless and hateful, fueled by religious zeal, enabled by the Israeli government. I wish the settling and repossession of Palestinian land would stop. I wish the bombing in Gaza would stop. Gazans deserve to live a life free of fear. For all the crimes Hamas has committed, we must always remember that they are not Palestine. The Israeli government holds all of the power and it is on them to stop the violence and show a true willingness for peace. I mean, what more do you want me to say? And again, this is before it was cool to hate Israel. So, kind of edgy on that one.
He really only has the one bit? Yeah. Yeah. I don't understand why he reads this tweet from like 2021 or Instagram post from 2021 over and over and over again. As if that suddenly absolves you guys like making fun of Aaron Bushnell, the guy who, for lack of better words, lit himself on fire. Like, you can't say one good thing once and then for years after that say a bunch of fucked up shit. Self-immolated, thank you, that's what I was looking for. And then be like, but look, I was based back in 2021. It's like, okay. Do you think that absolves everything in the future? I don't understand. Okay, I guess, sure.
Was flavor of the month. Cool. Nobody was calling me a Zionist then, I'll tell you that.
No, they didn't know that word before, like October 7th.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But go back to like the leftovers we were doing right after it happened. And, you know, like, why are you assuming that I fucking don't? That's kind of racist of you, isn't it?
Flavor of the month is crazy.
We were doing right after it happened. And, you know, like, why are you assuming that I fucking don't? That's kind of racist of you, isn't it? Like, oh, this Jew boy never fucking criticizes Israel. It's like, why would you say that? I have. But thank you for the question.
When are we going to dance, love?
Another important question from Lexi. How does Ian feel about Sabrina Carpenter's new album?
Yup.
I like it.
Hi, Ian.
Okay. That wasn't very enthusiastic. It was like, just kind of like, I like it.
Yeah, I
Okay. I feel like him saying this was before hating Israel was cool because it actually sounds like this post was to save face back then, but then his mask slipped, and then when he thought he was finally going to be able to open up about it, yeah.
cruised around listening to it.
7 out of 10?
7.5.
What's your fave track?
Anyways, I think that's probably it.
No. Oh, no.
Emma said, Emma said I'm Arab.
DPSL, thank you for the prime.
I never felt like Ethan Klein expressed hate towards us. Otherwise, I wouldn't watch. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
Thank you.
You guys, Dating and Money responded to my selfie.
No shot. Does he know it's you?
Of course he
He
did.
said, it's good. When?
Oh.
I like them reading one comment from an Arab person being like, look, this Arab person likes us. They're stupid.
You know,
He's for the fishes.
we got him.
He's for the fishes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Is
That
that
was
from
actually
a song?
Saddam. That was Saddam.
Okay. I think that's it.
Think you're willing to apologize when wrong. You're a class act. I
You got the
understand your
music playing.
frustration too. Thank you.
Nice.
Nice.
I appreciate that, you guys. Thank you. We will come back on Monday ready to.
Okay. Yes. That one Arab person actually speaks for all of us. I don't know if you guys know, but monolith. Arab people are a monolith. Muslim people are a monolith. Muslim people think whatever the last person, Muslim person, sorry, for Ethan Klein, the last Arab person that spoke to him that said something, that's what all the Arabs think. So like he'll see one based Arab, he's like, dude, Arabs are great. And then he says one Arab person that says, I don't know, man. 9/11 was caused by American intervention. He's like, dude, Arab people suck. Clearly, this is what they all think. Oh, gosh, dude. Oh, my God. Yeah. Yeah. I also think that this is true. Ethan Klein desperately wants Hassan to say something bad about him so he can feel justified farming never-ending drama clicks like he does with everyone else that he's had a falling out with. He's been trying to bait Hassan since Leftovers ended. Yeah. Yeah. Hassan was pretty nice about everything. I saw like some sections, some clips of what he had to say about it, and he was pretty polite about everything.
Are white dudes from Ohio.
I think he basically just said like I still feel like there's hope for Ethan Klein, and I just like you're just going after dude, you're targeting people like Frogan when you do this shit. Like it's not complicated, man. I think it was this one. We can
about this is that like Ethan is very frustrated and very emotional in this moment, but doesn't recognize that like perhaps a Lebanese woman who's a hijabi in the United States of America could also be very emotional in this exact same moment. You know what I mean? Like that's what's so. And the reality of the matter is anti-Semitism is an unacceptable form of bigotry, whereas Islamophobia is a very acceptable form of bigotry. So being the bigger person in this situation, regardless of your feelings, is absolutely to not unload with a much larger audience on a person of this background. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wouldn't saying that it was caused by American intervention is an oversimplification and it disregards his views on the American people, liberties, religion, homosexuality, etc., then why didn't they attack any European countries? They're way closer. Why didn't they fly planes into Big Ben? Logistically, way easier to plan. Just send some rockets over there? Why didn't they do like a mass attack on multiple Western nations? If it only had to do with our freedoms. I didn't say only, though. It's both, isn't it? No, you can hate a country, which the religious extremists that we put into power in a lot of these instances, we being the United States, the religious extremists in these countries hate Americans and Western powers for a variety of reasons, but they don't attack foreign countries with a unbelievably powerful military because they hate us. They do it as a way to get back to a country that has taken everything from them. Hate and action on that hate are different. You need something to set off the action. They did attack London, to be fair, the 7/7 bombings. That's true. Also in 2001, we were way more homophobic than Europe back then. Oh, dude. Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, gosh. Like, and here's the thing. I mean, you're welcome to go and read the manifesto from bin Laden. The first half of it is just talking about how U.S. intervention has destroyed so many Middle Eastern countries. And then the second half of it is, this is our response to you, America. Since you think it's fine for you to destroy the countries that you don't like, let's see how you like it. This is what we are demanding you change. And then it goes into all of the anti-Semitism, the sexism, the homophobia, the freedoms, etc. The entire first half is the reason why they're fucking planning this shit anyways. Very, very true. Many evangelical Americans have like the same level of bigotry, but then they just go and get jalapeno poppers instead of forming a militant group. Yeah, because when your material conditions are met, you don't have a reason to turn to violence. People don't generally throw away their lives when their lives are going pretty well. You might have deep-seated bigotry against other people, but you don't throw away your life when it's going pretty well. You do, however, act on that bigotry and throw your life away when you feel like, yeah, this is the best way to spend the rest of my days. This is why people need a materialist understanding, yeah. Pogo Blues, thank you for the tier 1 for 17 months. Thank you. And at the end of the day, like, we can't, so this is the last most important point. We can't just tell every terrorist organization, let's live in a world where like America didn't intervene at all ever, right? And the terrorists just hate us because they ain't us. Okay, let's just pretend like we live in La La Land for 2 seconds, right? We can't just write the terrorists a letter and be like, please don't be terrorists. I'm going to use Israel on October 7th as a good example here. The Israeli government can't just get mad at Hamas because the terrorist organization Hamas is doing terrorist things. It's ridiculous to be like, can you believe Hamas would do this? Can you believe terrorist organization Hamas would kill civilians? This is all their fault. No. You would hope that your government, if you were an Israeli, would do something about foreign threats, about foreign threats of terrorism. So talking about the U.S. and what the U.S. could have done to prevent 9/11, talking about what the U.S. should do for its citizens, for its civilians, to be like, this is all the terrorists' fault. Yep, terrorists are just going to be terrorists and there's nothing we can do about it ever. We should not hold our government responsible for not keeping Americans safe. Instead, we should just be upset that terrorists exist. You would still hold your government responsible because you're not going to reason with the terrorists, but you can try and like protect your people in this instance. Yeah. So it's almost meaningless to talk about how evil the terrorists are. It's like, yeah, they're terrorists. It has the word terror in it. We're all on the same page on this shit. we talk about the United States and the United States' wrongdoings because we actually can do something about the United States. Or at least we'd like to hope that we can do something, right? That if we elect the right people, we can choose people who actually will run our country in a not dog shit way. So we should hold our government responsible because we have power here. Getting upset and just being like, those damn terrorists, bomb them, bomb, yeah, bomb. That doesn't fucking do anything. It just makes Hamas too. And wastes a bunch of money for Americans. It's just a joke. Yeah, exactly. It's the difference between prioritizing prevention versus revenge and retaliation. Exactly. 1,000,000%. So the reason why leftists tend to talk about U.S. intervention and what the U.S. did wrong is because it's Americans, American leftists trying to hold the U.S. accountable so that we don't make the same mistakes again and lose a bunch of American lives for no fucking reason. That's why leftists tend to focus on what the U.S. should be doing and did and could be doing instead. There are more than enough people chirping about how evil terrorists are as if we don't already know. Also chirping about how evil the terrorists are and saying fuck bin Laden doesn't actually do anything. Criticizing your government for allowing bin Laden to exist in the way that he did, that might actually result in change in our government. Will it actually? I mean, no. Talking theoretical here. Addy, thank you for the prime. Think Osama was anti-Semitic? I mean, yeah, no shit he was.